Hey guys, I just wanted to drop by and say a few quick things about the Nintendo Switch presentation and kind of what I think Nintendo's going to be like in 2017 in general. So before I get started, maybe I ought to just say my background a little bit about Nintendo, because I'm not really, a popular blogger or vlogger or anything. I definitely took some time off from YouTube to get over some medical issues that I had. But I'm good now. Everything's good. But now I grew up with Nintendo. I started with a Nintendo and the NES, of course, with Mario. I quickly got the Super Nintendo as soon as it came out, or as soon as I could. Got the N64 the Christmas of the year it came out. I got the GameCube of the Christmas that it came out. I got the Wii, the Wii U. I pre-ordered the Switch, so I've got a long history with Nintendo. I've read a lot about Nintendo's history. I know a lot about the company. I got first Nintendo issue of Nintendo Power, got the last issue of Nintendo Power, so if you look behind me, I'm a pretty big avid collector of Nintendo items, accessories, toys, games, posters, you name it. I've had that stuff since I was a kid, a lot of it. Never gotten rid of it, and I just like it. It's nostalgia to me. I love it. It's something I hold dear to my heart. So here's what I had to say about the Nintendo Switch presentation. The first thing is the presentation itself. It wasn't very good. It was kind of mucky at times. The translation was pretty bad at times. I'm not sure if the translator was actually saying the right words, if he was actually translating the words over properly. I'm not sure. Sometimes he was lagging behind. Sometimes he was that sort of thing. Not a very good presentation at all. It was kind of slow. It was dragged out. Not necessarily the games that were shown. Some of the games were awesome, especially the Mario and the Zelda trailer. Obviously, two fantastic trailers, but the way they went about this presentation, I didn't think was very good. It was very businessy. It was very a business type of conference. Like if I was sitting around a table of board members and I had to give up my marketing presentation to these board members, and it's I'm going to lose my job type of a meeting. It was that kind of feel to me. It wasn't really fun, energetic, kind of like what I would want to see out of a Nintendo presentation. One of the things about the presentation I didn't like was there was no tech specs. Now, it's been a couple of days since then, and I know we've gotten some information on the tech. But we'd waited a long time for this presentation, and they didn't drop any tech specs at the presentation, which I thought was kind of a letdown. They should have dropped the tech specs to fill us in on what's going on with the system. So what I thought about this presentation, because it was so drawn out and slow, and they didn't really reveal too much. They didn't reveal too many games or whatnot, and what I think they should have done was either gave us this presentation months ago when we were wanting it, because I kind of feel like they already had all this stuff months ago, since there wasn't too much information that they gave out. It was certainly some good information as far as games go. We got the games, the list of games for 2017, and a few for the future thereafter. But they could have gave us this presentation months ago, since it wasn't like an awe-struck kind of presentation. They either could have gave us this presentation months ago, or they should have just not gave us this presentation yet and dropped one big, massive, awesome presentation at E3, and then delayed the console until holiday and all the games and everything until holidays, and they could have one massive drop in this awesome presentation to blow everything and everybody out of the water. Because what I expected after waiting this long for the presentation, instead of getting some snoozeville type of business presentation, was rolling out game after game after game after game, exciting type of things, kind of like Sony did last year at the E3 presentation, which I thought was very exciting. And Nintendo's a couple days ago Switch presentation, just not like that. Second thing I noticed, they focused a lot on the Joy-Cons, the motion controls. That's really gimmicky to me. I just want to see video games. I want to see what the hardware can do with the software. Give me fun games, and it seemed they showed a lot of gameplay up moving around with the punching and this and that again. Hey, I got a cup of ice. That's cool that they have the HD rumble and this new technology or whatever in the controllers, but this is a Nintendo presentation, not a Joy-Con presentation. And they focused a lot on these controllers, and they didn't focus as much on the games as like I wanted them to. The Mario trailer was certainly a good trailer, but like it just seemed brief. It seemed like in and out and it was gone. I'd like to add a little more information about Mario, especially because it's, you know, it's Mario. It's synonymous with Nintendo. I mean, that's what came with the NES. Third thing I noticed was the price of the accessories that they dropped. Right, I guess this was kind of right after the presentation. Not too happy about the price of the accessories. I know that technology has kind of stepped up, and therefore maybe the pricing should step up. But when a plastic docking station is what, $80, $90, that's a little bit ridiculous. Come on now. The Pro controller, was it like $69 or something like that? $79. It's really overpriced. Come on, PlayStation 4 controller is $50. That's kind of overpriced to me, but then again, it's right in the neighborhood too. So, price of accessories a little bit too high for me. Another thing I did not like about the presentation was the online gameplay from now on is going to be pay subscription, which that part doesn't really bother me. But the free games that they're going to drop come with a catch. You only get to play them for 1 month. Like what? What the heck? I mean, I know that goes back to Nintendo's pride, because I mean they're a very proud company. Look at all the fan projects they've shut down, and they don't want anything given away in their company for free. They rarely have sales. They rarely give anything away for free. That's just kind of been the history with them. So I kind of understand that, but we're going to pay a premium price for a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription. A little, you know, $3 virtual NES console or SNES console game. 1 or 2 of those a month would not hurt, especially if the games aren't going to be like the Chrono Triggers and the Earthbounds and the little Samsons of the Nintendos. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so kind of disappointed that they're gonna drop those games, and if you want to keep playing them, you got to pay for them. That's kind of a downer. Don't really like that. Another thing I didn't like was about the Switch. Of course, the battery life. The battery life. Well, it could be a problem. I'm not going to say it's going to be a problem for sure, but for example, I read that Breath of the Wild is only going to be you're only going to be able to play Breath of the Wild for 3 hours max without it being charged. Now, the plus side to this is they said that you can play the Switch while being plugged in. So, depending on where you're at, this might not be a problem. If you travel, and they make the travel accessory where you can plug it into your car and plug it in and play it. So it might not be a problem, but it could be a problem. So we'll have to see about that. 3 hours is a little bit on the low side, I would think, but I guess they were trying to keep costs down. I'm not really sure. Another thing I noticed was some of the chargers, the AC adapters, are USB powered. You know, the NES Mini was just hacked because it had a USB, plug it straight into the computer. I don't know if you'll be able to hack this, or I'm not a coder. I don't know much about the IT world, but certainly a possibility. If it's got a USB, it'll get straight into a computer and tap into that baby and possibly hack it within a couple of weeks to a couple of months. And now kind of the big one, the launch date titles. At first I was really upset. At first I could not believe that we get just a few games on launch day. No Mario, you know, that kind of those kinds of things really upset me. I was like, oh, you know, we're going to go from March all the way to December, and there's only these few games that I really want to play. Just a couple of games. There's nothing really popping out at me. So I took a couple days today, and I started thinking about it. And I got to looking back at. I started thinking back at like the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64, because those are the two that I specifically remember getting my first games with near a launch day, because I don't remember the NES launch. But anyways, for the Super Nintendo, we got Mario World, and we didn't get a game after that for a while. We played Mario World for quite some time, and personally for the Nintendo 64, we got Mario 64. We didn't get anything else for a long time. So that got me thinking, well, historically, what has Nintendo done historically? So I made a little chart here. The Nintendo, the NES, released in 1985. It had 18 games. There was Excite Bike, Donkey Kong Jr. Math. I mean, there's those black box games. Not really very good titles. But then there was Mario. So we had Mario, and then it wasn't until 2 years later that we got a Zelda. Of course, we didn't know about Zelda then, but I'm just saying, it was a whole 2 years later that we got a Zelda. And then the Super Nintendo dropped, and it had 5 launch day games, which was F-Zero, included F-Zero, Mario, and Pilot Wings, and Gradius 3. Now, I didn't know, I didn't get Gradius 3 until way later. I do like it. It was a good game. Pilot Wings is kind of a short game, but it's fun for a while too. F-Zero was really fun for a while too. But Mario was a game we played for a long time. And it wasn't until a full year later until we got a Zelda A Link to the Past. So we go on to the 64. We have just two launch games. And you know, the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64 are two, and the NES for that matter, are three of the most coveted consoles of all time. And they didn't have great launch day titles. So, you know, this really got me thinking about the Switch and the launch day titles. Okay, so the Nintendo 64 came up with Pilot Wings and Mario 64. So Pilot Wings 64, yeah, it's okay, I guess. Not great, but not for me anyways. But Mario 64, a masterpiece. I absolutely love that game. Spent a ton of time on that game, and a lot of people did. And it took a while to play it, and we were fine with it. Guess what? Zelda didn't come out for a whole 2 years after this. 2 years. So just keep this in mind. The GameCube. Come to the GameCube. No Mario at all in the launch day titles. No Mario. We got Luigi's Mansion instead, and a lot of sports titles and some other things. It wasn't until about 7-8 months later that we get Mario Sunshine. It was another 6 months after that that we got Zelda Wind Waker. So historically, what I'm getting at here is we've had very few launch day titles. We've had very few really good launch day titles, and we've always had to wait for a Zelda. 6 months later to a year to 2 years later. So here we are with the Switch. And if you think of the name Switch, it is Switch. Now we've got Zelda coming out as a launch day title, and we've got to wait about 6 months, 5-6 months for a Mario game, or the Mario title. And the more I think about it, the more I'm definitely okay with it. Because if I think back to the Super Nintendo, my personal favorite system, it wasn't until 93, 94, 95 that we started getting all those classic RPGs, Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy III. It wasn't until years later until we started getting all those anyways. They didn't all come out right at the beginning. We just got to give them time to see what kind of games are going to come out. Give them time to develop. So let's not hate on Nintendo and the launch titles just yet. So it also got me thinking this. Well, why is it that there's so many people ragging on the fact that we've got no launch day title games? It's because that we are now spoiled. As gamers as a whole, we're spoiled. We're used to getting our games and getting them now these days. I can remember when I was a kid, I got the Super Nintendo. I got Super Mario World with it for Christmas. I didn't get it at launch. I didn't get my Super Nintendo at launch. I didn't get my Nintendo 64 at launch. I had to wait months later until Christmas. Could you imagine today waiting until Christmas to get the console that comes out in March? Not going to happen these days. We want the console now, and we want our games now. And that's why we're mad that we didn't get the launch day titles that we expected. So thinking back on it historically, I'm okay with it. Normally we get the Mario first and then we get a Zelda. This time we're getting a Zelda first and then getting a Mario. Both of those games look fantastic. Let's just give them time to see what kind of games they're going to roll out with. We're still waiting to hear about a Mother 3 announcement. We're still waiting to hear about a Metroid game. And who knows what else they've got in store for us. Square Enix is coming back. That RPG looks good. So I'm going to give Nintendo some time. But being that we are spoiled gamers, I'm a spoiled gamer too. I go out and I pre-order my games as soon as I can because I want them as soon as they come out. So this is all I would ask for Nintendo. If they're going to make us wait another 5-6 months for Mario, just pull a fast one on us. Do like you did with like Majora's Mask or Wind Waker. Just drop us an HD remake of Mario Sunshine or Mario 64, something to give us to play to kind of hold us over. But I know they won't because we got Zelda, and Zelda will probably keep us plenty busy until Mario comes out, especially if you got a life around your video games where you got to work and families and whatnot. But you know what? I'm okay. I would love to see a Mario 64 or Sunshine HD remake to hold me over for this new Mario, but I'm really looking forward to the new Mario, and I'm really looking forward to the future of Nintendo and the Switch. I've got mine pre-ordered, like I said. I got my Zelda pre-ordered, so I'm very much so looking forward to it, and I hope that you are too. And so let's just get a little bit more positive about Nintendo. I was really upset at first with this presentation, especially how the format of the presentation was. It really got me down, but the more I started thinking about it, I think with the games and the system, we're going to be okay going down the road. So, well, that's it for me. I'm back, and I'll see you soon. Take care.